Let me tell you this story properly, not the Instagram version, not the God did it caption, but the real one, the kind of story people only share when they trust you. This is about Obi and Chichi. Before anyone says they left Nigeria because they were suffering, let me clear that up first. They were not. Obi had a good job in Nigeria, a proper corporate position in IT data science, and he wasn't a beginner. He had years of experience under his belt. In meetings, people listened when he spoke. Chichi, his wife, owned a boutique, a real shop, not just Instagram posts. She had customers, suppliers, staff. She knew her business inside out. They had 2 children, and in Nigeria they had help, a driver, a nanny, a cleaner. Life wasn't perfect, but it was comfortable. At that time, both of them still carried that typical Nigerian mindset, like, this country is hard, but it's ours. Abroad is not as easy as people say.
Abroad is not as easy as people say, and
they
we're
weren't
managing
desperate
here.
to leave Nigeria. Then EndSARS happened. Obi followed everything closely on social media videos, news reports, and young people unalive in the streets. Something shifted in him. One night after the children had gone to sleep, Obi said quietly, "What if this country doesn't get better? What kind of future are we preparing these children for?" That conversation changed everything. This time, Obi was the one who suggested relocation. Chichi didn't jump at it immediately. She thought about her business, her shop, her customers, the life she'd built, but she also thought about safety, stability, options for their children. Eventually, she agreed. Now, this part matters. When they started planning, they had a serious discussion about who would be the student. Chichi only had her WAEC qualification. Obi had a BSc in information technology, plus years of professional experience, so it made sense. Obi would come as a student, pursue a master's in data analysis, upgrade his credentials, then enter the UK corporate space. Chichi would come as a dependent, work, and support the family while Obi studied. That was the plan, a solid plan on paper. They sold things. Chichi shut down her boutique. Obi resigned from his job. They packed their lives into boxes. Nigeria became back home. The UK became the future. When they arrived in the UK, everything felt fresh. Quiet streets, organized transport, no generator noise at night. They booked an Airbnb for 1 week, just 1 week, because in their minds, renting a house would be straightforward. That 1 week turned into 1 month of staying in Airbnb because every agent asked the same questions. They asked for 6 months UK pay slips, credit history, guarantor. The guarantor must be a homeowner. Obi and Chichi had none of it. The Airbnb money started bleeding out fast. Food, transport, winter jackets, little expenses that add up quickly when you're not earning yet. Finally, an agent told them the truth. If you don't have pay slips or a guarantor, you'll need to pay 6 months rent upfront. 6 months upfront. They didn't have that kind of cash sitting around, so they did something painful. They sold a piece of land back in Nigeria, not because they wanted to, but because they had no choice. That money paid for Airbnb extension, 6 months rent upfront, deposit. When they finally got the keys, Chichi sat on the floor of the empty living room and cried. Not happy tears, the tired kind. The house was empty, no bed, no sofa, no plates. They were starting again from zero. Obi started school, and here came another shock. As a UK international student, Obi was legally allowed to work only 20 hours per week, no matter how qualified you are, no matter how desperate you are. The law is the law. He started applying for data analysis jobs immediately. CV polished, LinkedIn updated, cover letters written carefully. Interviews came, but the feedback was always the same. You don't have UK experience. We need someone who can work full time. We can't sponsor a student visa holder. Again and again. So Obi did what survival demanded. He took a part time factory job, standing for hours, repetitive work, nothing related to his degree, but he kept applying every night, every weekend, every rejection email. Like, hey, Chichi also needed to work. That's how she entered domiciliary care, moving from one client's house to another, cold mornings, rain, bus stops, and because Chichi didn't drive, here was the painful part. Only the minutes inside the client's house counted. Some clients were kind, some were rude, some family members spoke to her like she was invisible, some carried quiet racism, not loud but heavy, and some clients smoked heavily. Chichi would enter houses filled with smoke. She knew about passive smoking. She knew it wasn't healthy, but she endured because rent doesn't understand pride. Now listen to this carefully. Despite everything, Obi showed up as a husband. When Chichi was on shift, Obi stayed with the children. He cooked, he cleaned, he did school runs, he helped with homework. When Chichi came home exhausted, Obi would sit her down and massage her feet. Sometimes they didn't talk, just silence and love because their relationship was strong and they were tired together, scared together, hopeful together. One evening, Chichi broke down. In Nigeria, we had help. Here, we do everything alone. She wasn't ungrateful, she was grieving. Obi listened. He said, "This is hard, but it's not forever." Then came the bad day. One client's family member was openly rude. They smoked inside the house. When Chichi complained politely, they laughed. "If you don't like it, you can leave." She stayed. She missed a bus later, arrived late to the next client. The client
This
complained.
is
Her
unacceptable. You're
company
late again.
called.
We've been
Calm
waiting all
voice,
morning.
cold
Just get
tone.
out. We'll find someone
Travel
else.
delays are not our responsibility. Weeks later, just when Chichi was holding on to hope of sponsorship, it happened. She got a voicemail. "Due to client feedback, your placement has been terminated with immediate effect. No meeting, no warning, no second chance." In Nigeria, she owned a boutique. People worked for her. In the UK, she endured everything and still lost the job. Obi came home later, and for the first time, even Obi looked unsure because his 20-hour job wasn't enough. His data analysis applications kept failing. Bills were waiting. That night, Chichi cried properly. She said, "Maybe we were too brave. Maybe we should have stayed where we were respected." Obi had no answer. They lay awake that night, staring at the ceiling, thinking about Nigeria, the land they sold, the life they left, and one question hung in the air. What do we do next? Let me tell you this story properly, not the Instagram version,